Hello everyone, so we're going to have a review of the lecture we had yesterday, so to better prepare you for tomorrow's class. So let's start learning HTML. So we looked at like an overview of what HTML is. We're actually learning HTML5, which is hypertext markup language. Elements in the HTML build-up are enclosed in these angle brackets. So almost every element in the HTML syntax has an opening and a closing tag, except for some self-closing tags like the line break tag that we used yesterday is also valid in HTML5. So let's jump right straight into our Visual Studio Code and relearn what we learned. So just as I instructed everyone yesterday to come to maybe your desktop or your document folder. For myself, I came to my desktop folder. Let me increase this, and I created a folder called Learning HTML. You could do that by right clicking and you say new folder, and you can name it maybe web development, web design, or whatever name you want to give it. You hit enter and you can remove this. So I'm live here on my Visual Studio Code, and the first thing I actually should ask you guys to do was to open folder. So you can open folder by right clicking on the folder that you actually want to open and select the folder. But for myself, I've already clicked on Learning HTML, and let's replicate what we did yesterday. So because I actually want you guys to be conversant with using the terminal, I actually showed you how to use the terminal. You click new terminal, or you could just click Ctrl Shift and backticks. We want to create our first folder. So I encouraged you to always ensure your documents are orderly. So and we actually did that yesterday. To create a file, not just an HTML file, any file, we use the touch command, and the first file we created was 01 basic layout .html. So we have our file here. So let's get rid of this. Let's open up this. And the first tag I showed you was the doc type. I showed you guys the doc type HTML tag, and I told you that this tag actually tells the HTML, tells the browser, interprets to the browser that what we actually have below is what we actually have in this file is actually an HTML file, or it's an HTML document. So the next that we saw was the HTML tag, and sorry about this. So this is a closing tag, and in the HTML tag, let's space this out. This is the opening tag, and this is the closing tag. This is the closing tag because of this backslash. You can see this backslash, not black slash here. So this is the closing tag. These basics are very important. So let's hit enter. I also explained to you about this tab. So it helps to detail the structure of your code, that this should be first, and inside here elements there are children of the parents. This is the parents. The HTML is the parent of the next tag that we're going to see. So the next that we saw was the head tag. So and this is the opening and this is the closing. So pay attention to opening and closing. Closing has a backslash. Closing has a backslash. So let me increase this so you can see this better. So closing has a backslash. Opening, closing. So let's continue. So I actually explained that inside the head is just like the brain of our code. So we have informations about the page and informations like the title and others that we saw. So let's see the title for this one. Let's say title And when we hit the last arrow, by default our VS Studio Code actually gives us this end part, which is a closing tag. So inside here I can call this my website. So, and this is the title, and this my website does not actually display on the website after building it. So, and the next thing that we saw was the body tag, and the body is actually where you see it has an opening tag and a closing tag. It's actually where every other thing happens. So this is where whatsoever we type gets displayed on our browser. So let's say hello everyone, hello world, and we save it, and you all have your live servers installed. So when I hit mine, so let's split screens. So I have my hello world here. So whatsoever I key in here, see my paragraph tag, I am excited. So learn all these interesting topics. So and when we save it, it gets displayed. So notice that the title didn't get displayed here. So it just H1, paragraph tag, and every other tag that would be going into the body. So the next thing that we did was to create a new file that we called 02 underscore meta underscore tags .html, and we did hit enter. We cancelled this out. We did Ctrl B and we opened this, Ctrl B again. So this was where I showed you the easiest way to get the basic structure or the boilerplate of what you actually need to properly do HTML or write HTML code. So the first thing I asked everyone to do was to hit the exclamation key. When you hit it, you actually have a basic boilerplate of all that you need. Let me make this bigger. Sorry about this. So let's make it bigger. So, and for this section, we explained what the meta tags are. Meta tags are, these are the meta tags. You see meta char set, this character set, meta HTTP equivalent, meta name, and we're going to explain all that. Meta tags are basically tags that describe the content of your page. An example is the character set. This is actually character encoding for HTML files. It's best practice to always include character sets UTF-8. There are other character sets, but this is the preferred one. Now we discussed about HTTP equivalent, and I explained that this is about responsiveness, and we discussed about browser compatibility. This IE equals H is Internet Explorer. So for browser compatibility, so the Internet Explorer would actually be able to work. Your product, your website should be able to work comfortably or should be compatible with the Internet Explorer. That was why this was included too. The next that we looked at was the viewport. The viewport, I believe with time we'll get to know and understand why all these things happen when we start building projects. Now this is about responsiveness, this viewport. The width equals the device width. Let the width of your product be equal to the device width. Let the initial scale be 1.0. All this may sound scary, but when we start building products, you understand why responsiveness is actually very important in almost every product that you build. Now the next one we looked at was meta keyword. We looked at meta keyword, not meta. So we had keyword keyword. Sorry guys, meta name was equal to keyword. I wrote everything in small letters, and the content of the keyword is like depending on what you want to build. This used to be the standard before now. If you want your site to be ranked in the search engine, you actually ensure that you include some keywords that will, so when I am looking for your website, I can easily I can easily be linked to your website. Say for example, if I go to the Google search and query maybe one of the keywords that you included here, the website will also be, it will be one of the websites that will be displayed for me to click. It also describes the page content, but it doesn't have any effect. So even if you don't add it, it doesn't really matter that much now. So let's say you're building a web development site, so you could include things like websites. It should be from 8 to 12 words, and that's it. So the next that we looked at was we looked at meta name. So we say the meta name of meta name. Say you want to include your name as a web developer, you could say author, then content. I could just write my name, John Champion. Now you could write your name here. Now observe the pattern. We have meta name, we have what we actually want. Then the content is actually the content of that name. Meta keyword. Meta name is keyword, the contents are keywords. Meta name is author, the content is the name of the author. So let's get rid of this first and second one. Let's save it. So Control B. Sorry guys. So let's create a new. Let's create the third one. So we all did touch. Let me get typography .html. Hit enter. So we have it here. So we have to, okay, sorry guys, let me rename it. We did 03 underscore. So, and to rename, you just, when you click, you just hit F2. Gives you the ability to rename. So just a tip. So we hit the exclamation key and so we're going to name this typography, and we save. We do Control B to get that bar off. Then the first that we actually looked at yesterday was the H1, so we could just say heading. You remember what we used to comment? Control /. So the heading, we actually have heading 1 to 6. So we're going to see that, say hello world 1, H2, hello world, H3, hello world, H4, hello world, H5, hello world, and H6, hello world. Then we save it. Let's run this. Let's get this up and running on our live server. Let's go live. So you see, let's adjust this a little bit. So say H1 is the biggest and H6 is the smallest. The next that we looked at was, these are just basic things, paragraphs, so we don't, paragraphs or paragraph tag, so which is the P tag. We could write anything. I love to travel and meet new people. So when we save that, this is our paragraph tag. So the next that we looked at was, so let's use the paragraph tag again. I told you about the dummy text, so we're going to say lorem 100, and when we save, we have 100 words. Now we're going to be toying with the words inside the paragraph tag to understand some of the tags. So we looked at the EM tag, the emphasis tag. We could just copy this, let's cut it and paste it inside here and save. And you observe that this line here, was just italicized. So this was one of the tags that we looked at. And then let me make this smaller. No, I think it's better this way. We looked at the strong tag. We looked at the strong tag. And let's get some words inside the strong tag. And let's save it. You see, this actually appeared to be bold. So just what we're doing is, like the strong tag has an opening and a closing tag. A closing tag has a backslash, and we have words inside. Depends on what you want to do. So I believe as we advance, we're actually going to learn and use more tags. So let's jump right straight into the next item. So just as we did together, we have to Control B to get this out. And do we really need to do that now? Okay, we need to open up our terminal, and we say touch for the next item. Say, okay, this is the third one, so it's going to be 04 underscore links. Sorry guys, links and images dot HTML. So we hit enter. So we have it right here. So we close this and we do. I actually increase the font size so everyone will be able to see it. So we do this. We do Control B, then we double click. So we have it. Control B to take this in. Exclamation. We have the boilerplate. We come right straight into here and we say links and say images. So we save. You could actually do yours with a small letter. I just prefer to use a capital letter for mine. So, and I think in class we used a small letter, but you just so let's work with links. The A tag is actually what we are going to use, and they're actually called, let's comment. This is what they are called, the anchor tags. So what goes into this these quotation marks is actually the link, what we want to link to. Okay, so for example, if we want to link to the typography.html, all we have to do is to come in between here and say 03 underscore typography.html, then we'll come here and say typography class, typography link. Then we save it. Control B. We run live server and it should go live, right? Now we have the link. When we click here, we are redirected back to what we did before this one. So you see the interesting part. Then I showed you guys about how to actually access the Google website. I could actually do, I just A and I say HTTP, which is a hypertext transfer protocol S, and I'll do colon dash, say google.com. So I'll come here and I'll say go to Google. And I forgot to show you the line break. Well, we did that in class, so we just do BR, and this will actually break the line. And let's go live. So when we load this, so we have go to Google. When we click this, it should direct us to Google. And so I just got my internet on, so let's click and see. Yeah, so it took us to Google. So and we're able to get this to a new line because of the line break. If we comment this out and save this, see, they all appear in a single line. So but when I uncomment this, it appeared here. I can have as many line breaks as possible. We also have the HR tag, the horizontal rule tag, which I also showed you in class yesterday. It gives us this horizontal line. So let's move to the next item, which is images. So we could actually, let's say images. We could actually include images into our project by using the img tag. So img tag comes with a source and an alternative, and I told you that this source is actually where the image is located on your machine, or if you actually need an external source. So we'll call this internal image. That's image on our computer. So I already have my image folder. I believe you all have yours because I instructed you to go into your project folder, create an image folder, copy any image in your computer into that image folder. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say /images, that's this images folder /sample.jpg. This image I actually have. And alternative, I could just say a small bridge, because that's what the image is all about. This alternative, okay, let's see this. So this is the image. This alternative actually takes effect when maybe the internet is slow, or maybe by some means your code is not properly written. But the alternative actually shows you gives you like a hint about the image there. Say for example, let's get rid of C, let's get rid of R here. The image disappears, but we have the alt, a small bridge. So our source code is not correct, so it needs an R. So when we do that, the idea is that you don't get to see this alternative when the image works properly well. So and one thing I failed to include here was about the links. We actually have two ways of linking files. You know, sometimes when you click a link, it directs you into a new tab, and to do that, we have to include target, and we give it blank. So what's this? Let's comment this out. Let's say redirect to a new tab. So what this does is, when I come here, in short, always save your files, Ctrl S. When I click go to Google, let me uncomment this. Let's do this. When I click go to Google, see, observe that it took me to a new tab. So guys, it took me to a new tab. So that's really how this one works. I needed to turn my internet on, but you get the idea. So let's continue. Now the next thing we're going to do is external images, like getting images from the web. Loading, let's call it loading an image from the web. And you know we need our img tag, and now the source is actually going to be a link from the web. So I already have a link here. I'll just copy it. So I will just paste this link, and I'll say from, let's say, random images. Actually, this link is from Unsplash. It gives us the ability to, you know, what the link actually does is, you know, generates images. So when I save my code and I come back so see, each time I reload my it gets, I don't have these images on my computer. I don't have this image. It's courtesy of this link. So see, it keeps giving me landscape images because this is actually, I got this from the web on splash.com. So I think that should be it for links and images, and we have so much to learn, but let's get right straight to the next one. So in our next class, we are going to be looking at lists and tables. So we could just create that before the next class, 05. We're going to look at lists and how to create tables .html. So see you in the next class. I wish you all the best of success, and we're also going to be kickstarting with CSS and start building awesome designs. And the disclaimer is that the route to becoming better won't be easy. You're really going to be trying a lot of things, but I encourage you to continue. I know that you can do this, and we'll see you in the next class. Thank you, guys.